Do we have anybody for public input? Okay, thank you. Hi, Tom. For the record, all board members are present. Approval of the March 19th meeting. A motion, please.
So moved.
A motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Minutes approved. Bill payment, voucher number 20180 to 201805529 for the total of $136,378.37. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried for bill payment. Department heads, Highway Department, Holly Siegman.
I have no report tonight.
Thank you, Paul. Water and Sewer, Richie.
Good evening. Don't really have much of a report, but I would like to say a big thank you to Matt Brooks. He's done a fine job as the town attorney. We had a hydrant that got hit last August up on Lockport Road. I did quite a bit of chasing myself through the sheriff's department and trying to locate the individual that hit the hydrant because there was Canadian plates on the car. There was a lot of different issues. I had hit a brick wall with as far as I could go to try and get repayment for the town, so I turned it over to Matt, and he took it and ran with it, and because of his workings, the town got a little over $4,000 back in replacement for the fire hydrant. So hats off to Matt. He did a fine job for us. That's all I have for tonight.
Thanks, Rich. Thank you, Matt.
I like that, Matt.
Mike Rinaldi will not be here tonight. He's out of town. Building Inspector Mike Clark. Hi, Mike. Thank you for the report, by the way.
You're welcome. That's actually what I was going to tell you, that you guys should have this in your box. It'll have the recap of the month end for March, includes all the permit starts, complaint records, and the fire inspections. And one note, I think we brought it up the last time around, last month meeting, that we are in our cleanup mode, our spring cleanup. And if you look at the complaint records, everything is brought up to speed as of March. So anybody, if you see anything that's on there, they're on their 30-day or less final notices.
Right.
And then a couple of the items that are in court right now, we're ongoing with negotiating to clean those up also. So that's our effort so far.
So,
and I'm also Bridget today, so she said I have no report.
Okay. Do you want to go back and sit down and come back?
Yeah, I'll try that, yeah. And if there's any questions for you guys.
Thanks for your efforts. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Seniors, Arlene Mancy. Remind me on that date, Arlene. When was the dance? I gotta put my dancing shoes on.
19th is a Thursday. That would be the 21st.
Thank you, Arlene. That's it, Arlene? You're all set? Thank you. Wendell. Thank you, sir. Anybody for Tim? Sorry. Thanks, Tim. Motions, Matt Brooks.
Okay, first motion we have is from Water and Sewer Department to appoint Mark Clark to the position of Deputy Water Sewer Superintendent effective immediately. Mark has been serving this position currently as provisionally appointed, and the town of Wheatfield has now been advised he has passed the civil service test for said position.
A motion, please.
So moved.
Motion and a second, all in favor by signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next motion again from Water and Sewer to authorize the posting in-house in the Water Sewer Department for an MEO pursuant to the rate of pay and other criteria according to the job specifications to fill the recent vacancy in the MEO position.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
A third motion again from Water and Sewer to authorize the Town of Wheatfield Water Sewer Department to purchase a 2019 Ford F-350 Crew Cab 4x4 pickup from Van Bertel Ford, piggybacking off the Onondaga County standing bid for the bid cost of $33,904. Said purchase price is to be split equally between the Water and Sewer Department's 2018 equipment budgets respectively.
A motion, John?
Make that motion?
I'll second.
A motion and a second, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Next motion from the Highway Department to authorize the Highway Superintendent Paul Siegman and Deputy Superintendent Jamie Irving to attend the 2018 Cornell Local Roads Highway School in Ithaca, New York on June 3rd through June 6th, and the ensuing expenses for 3 nights of accommodations, transportation, and other miscellaneous allowed expenses.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next, motion from the Town Board, Town Supervisor, and Town Planning Board. Whereas the Town of Wheatfield determined that a special use permit is required for the proposed Moog expansion project in accordance with Chapter 200, Article 8, Section 200-87G of the Wheatfield Town Code, and whereas a public hearing was held regarding the special use permit on March 19, 2018, and no adverse comments were received, and whereas in accordance with Part 617 of the implementing regulations pertaining to Article 8, State Environmental Quality Review Act, SEQR, of the Environmental Conservation Law, the Wheatfield Planning Board has issued a SEQR negative declaration on the project, and whereas the town, including the Town Board, Planning Board, and Fire Advisory Board, have reviewed this action and found the project will not adversely affect the town and its residents, and whereas hydrazine has been utilized at the facility for many years and may in fact not technically be a detonable material, and whereas the proposed project will enhance safety at the facility for first responders and will consolidate storage of said chemicals, including hydrazine, in an up-to-date structure. It's constructed in accordance with modern code standards and which will have an air recovery system and scrubber in case of any potential leaks. And whereas the current expansion and the required updating of construction and safety standards will greatly improve safety at the facility and as a result receives the full support of the Town of Wheatfield Fire Advisory Board. Now therefore be it resolved, the Wheatfield Town Board, in accordance with Chapter 200, Article 8, Section 200-87G of the Wheatfield Town Code, issues a special use permit for the Moog facility to store hydrazine.
So moved. Or do you want Matt to repeat that? So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next motion from the Town Board to authorize and allow the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, New York branch, to hold its 12th annual, it says Ridge, but it should be Ride for Missing Children, on certain roads throughout the town of Wheatfield. The town is aware and that said event travels through Erie and Niagara counties, and in pursuant to its schedule, the event will travel down specified roads within the town of Wheatfield. The town has no objection to said event traveling on public roads within the town. The town notes it's not supplying resources to the event and requires the sponsor of the event to provide all necessary police escorts and safety measures within the town. Additionally, the town of Wheatfield notes its support for the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children in their efforts to educate people and raise funds to support its worthy cause.
A motion, please.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
A motion to a second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next motion from Parks and Recreation Department to allow the Recreation Department to hire the following individuals as groundskeeper, summer help: Alex Hake, Brock Croning, Steve Bartolomeo, Matt Sissio, Daniel Sissio, Jamie Martin, and Nicholas Kosis. And as park guard, summer help: Lindsay Kankar, Lisa Demler, Alyssa Martin, Alexis Eustace, Kristen Klecki, and Joseph Delabio, all as summer seasonal help for the Parks and Recreation Department at the rate of pay and terms pursuant to the job specifications of the Parks and Recreation Department's seasonal help and pending approval of Human Resources and a Niagara County criminal background check.
So moved. Have a second?
Were we gonna table that for 2 weeks?
There was discussion of,
Until Matt gets, or not Matt, or Mike?
there was some discussion whether or not it might want to be tabled since Mike Rinaldi is not here to answer any questions on it.
Are there any questions?
I guess our question was, did we advertise for these, or that was my question, if we advertised, or if these were returning, employees from the previous year?
I'm looking at this list, for everyone I see on here, they're all returning, that I can see. We're just going down the list, and if you wanna put a hold on it for 2 weeks, that's not a problem.
Is it something that can wait 2 weeks, you
I'm
think?
sure it can. I'm sure it can.
Yeah,
Okay,
the park
let's-
guys, park guys don't necessarily start until
Yeah.
June.
Yeah,
So
okay.
it's,
All right, we'll put a hold on it then. We'll take no action on that motion.
Next again from Parks and Recreation Department. For the town of Wheatfield to host the firework display at Oppenheim Park on Wednesday, July 4th, 2018. Said display is to be performed by Skylighters for an agreed cost of $10,000. Approval of performing the display would be contingent upon Skylighters being in compliance with all necessary rules, regulations, and them having all proper local, state, and federal licenses and certifications. Additionally, said approval of performance by Skylighters is conditioned upon them having proper insurance as required by the town and naming the town as an additional insured at the amounts required by the town and provision of a copy of said insurance policy to the town within 45 days of this resolution. Furthermore, it's authorized for the Recreation Department Director Mike Rinaldi to voucher this amount in advance such that upon successful completion of display, payment can be made.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion and second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Next motion from the Budget Director, approve amendment, to the 2018 Sewer District budget to provide for use of the fund balance to provide additional budgetary appropriation for the town's share of the state grant for the purchase and installation of generators at the sewer lift stations as follows, as listed in the motion package.
Any comments, gents? Do I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
The motion? Need a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
And we have one late supplemental motion from the Town Board and Zoning Board of Appeals. Whereas the Town Zoning Board of Appeals has indicated the need for services of a secretary who is not a board member to take minutes at the Zoning Board of Appeals meetings and to do other administrative work for the Zoning Board of Appeals. And whereas currently a Zoning Board of Appeals member is the board's secretary, which detracts from the member's participation at meetings as the secretary is busy taking minutes and doing administrative work while said individual's attention should rather be on the meeting's business. And whereas the town seeks to remove that duty and its stipend from the Zoning Board of Appeals member and assigns that duty to the Secretary of the Supervisor, Deborah Carr, to be paid for said extra duties at her current hourly wage with any necessary overtime expense. And whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals has interviewed two current town employees who expressed interest in the position and Deborah Carr demonstrated prior zoning and building code experience, now therefore be it resolved that the Secretary to the Supervisor, Deborah Carr, be assigned the duty of Zoning Board of Appeals Secretary, a non-Zoning Board of Appeals member position to be paid for said extra duties at her current hourly wage with any necessary overtime expense, and the Zoning Board of Appeals member previously serving as the Secretary shall be relieved of said duties and the stipend for the duties.
I'll make the motion. Need a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Okay, I have no further motions.
Board members, Larry Helwig.
A couple things, I think the town board received, we don't always get a whole lot of letters of appreciation or praise, but we received one from Judge Kevin Mack. Just a few sentences here, I'd like to read them. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for allowing me to serve as interim justice in the town of Wheatfield. The assignment you trusted me with was both challenging and very rewarding. The knowledge and experience gained from working in such a busy and spontaneous environment will serve to make me a better prepared as I continue as town justice in Pendleton. The supporting staff was very professional throughout my stay. Judge Frankowski proved to be very willing and eager to learn and made the whole experience seem meaningful. I was glad that you called upon me to assist and hope I fulfilled the expectations you had in choosing me for the assignment. But that was from Kevin Mack, Judge in Pendleton.
Very nice.
Two other things. Last week, Wednesday and Thursday, we had Newcastle in. They met with all the departments. I think it went pretty good. We got an inventory of about 55 phones. We went through in quite detail with each department. I sent out an email today to everyone explaining where we left off that process. So, departments read it over. Town board members read it over. I didn't send one to the budget director, but we initially said we were going to have 52 phones. I think the survey that we conducted ended up with 55 phones. So there's 3 more than we thought, but Mike Rinaldi's not here. We ran into one that was in the gymnasium that they use if there's ever an emergency, and the other phones are up front. So a couple phones, they just forgot about them on the initial survey, but there's 3 additional phones. They're about $14 a month, so it's not a huge expense. The last item I have is the census. We did receive our paperwork on March 15th. We get 120 days. So I'll be coming back to the town board with a motion probably at the next meeting to have someone assist myself with that process. And so that gives us till about the end of June. By the time we get to early July, we have to send all this stuff back to the federal government. And hopefully we're going to be adding a lot of address points because we want to make sure that our census input is very accurate. Because we get paid from Niagara County on tax dollars based on population. So we want to make sure that every house is accounted for in Wheatfield. I'll be working with the assessor's office to get a list from them. I'll be working with the water department to get a list of all where water meters are. I've got information from the Board of Elections where people vote from. I'm going to be tapping into the building department to see Mike's son, but I'll be asking the building department for a list of all building permits over the last 10 years. We just need to make sure that every house that we know about is on the federal list. And I've already started looking, and we're missing hundreds already. So I would imagine we're going to have several hundred houses to add to what they have in their list. But it's all for good because we need to make sure our population count is accurate.
Thank you, Larry. Joe Doucette.
I have a correspondence from St. Johnsburg Fire Company. They'd like to add Chris Matt and Mitchell Headland as active firefighters, and I'll make that motion.
Second. Second. We got a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Anything else, Jim?
That's all I have.
Kurt, you're up.
Yeah, I've got something from the Comprehensive Plan Task Force. So we've got a volunteer recognition event coming up on April 18th. The town's way of saying thank you for all the hard work that our group of dedicated volunteers does all year, donating their time and their skill to help with our community. The event is also going to have an educational spin, so we're also going to teach the volunteers and hope that they can use those skills to give it back to our community. And again, that'll be April 18th, 6 p.m. at the Community Center if you are a volunteer. And then just a reminder, Community Ambulance still is doing their 100 Lives in 100 Days campaign. There's 3 sessions still remaining, April 13th, April 28th, and May 4th. And if you're there on April 13th, you're going to see me because I'm going to be taking the place. That's it.
Thank you, Kurt. Randy Retzlaff.
I have nothing.
Randy, thank you. I would just like to say last Friday I had the pleasure of meeting with the new owners of the Shawnee Golf Course. And I also met with the new chef and the golf pro. And it's nice to see them in Wheatfield. They'll be having a groundbreaking and a ribbon cutting in about approximately a month. And it's going to be a full-service restaurant. If anybody remembers, at one time they had great fish fries, and they said they're going to do it again. So it was great to meet with these folks, and I'm happy to have Wheatfield opening it back up again, or opening up again in Wheatfield. Also, tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, I'm meeting with National Grid again to further discuss the possibility of conversion of our street lights into LED lights, and hopefully a cost savings. That's all I have. Kathy, you have anything else? Next meeting is April 16th, and Niagara Community Action Program is going to put on about a 15-minute presentation about what they do in this area. And there'll be a public hearing again for the bicycle races at 7 o'clock. Any public input on anything we've discussed tonight? Motion to adjourn.